Class 7, Independent and Dependent Clauses. We are almost closing the Unit 1, and now the topic is independent and dependent clauses, and maybe you are asking yourself, what are dependent and independent clauses? Nevertheless, independent and dependent clauses are the two main categories of clause. A clause is a group of words that contains at least one subject and at least one verb, but clauses can be either complete or incomplete sentences, depending on their wording and punctuation. How an independent and dependent clause differ from one another. The difference is an independent clause can work alone as a complete sentence, but a dependent clause, also known as a subordinate clause, needs to join with an independent clause to form a complete sentence. For this reason, if the clause alone is a complete sentence, it is an independent clause. If the clause alone is not a complete sentence, it is a dependent clause. But let's see deeper each one. What are independent clauses? Independent clause contains both a subject and a verb. A single independent clause is a simple sentence, the most basic type of sentence. However, you can also combine two or more independent clauses to create a compound sentence. For example, my partner wants to run a marathon together, but I prefer to watch them. These sentences both are independent clauses. Now, what are dependent clauses? Dependent clauses are a little more complicated. Also known as subordinate clauses, dependent clauses alone are not complete sentences, even though they have both a subject and verb. Dependent clauses need to join with an independent clause to be correct. This is why dependent clauses are usually easy to recognize, because they include a subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. That means subordinating conjunctions and relative pronouns are words like because, if, or whenever, that signal a relationship between the dependent clause and the independent clause it joins. For example, Kunal likes to stay up late because no one bothers him at night. Here we have some examples about independent and dependent clause. If the interview goes well, next Tuesday will be my first day at my new job. In this sentences, if the interview goes well, is the dependent clause, while next Tuesday will be my first day at my new job would be the independent. In the sentences, you have to finish your vegetables before you can eat dessert. This would be the dependent clause, and this is the independent clause. How to connect independent and dependent clauses. As connecting independent and dependent clauses is easy, after all, dependent clauses are designed to be connected. Therefore, all you need is either a subordinating conjunction such as if, because, before/after, although, once, or a relative pronoun such as where, when, wherever, whenever. You can also turn an independent clause into a dependent clause just by adding a subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. When we are studying this topic, it's a little confused, but here are some common mistakes with independent and dependent clauses to take into account. Sentence fragments. Without an independent clause, a dependent clause is a sentence fragment, or a piece of a sentence that's missing the necessary parts to make it complete. For example, the incorrect form is, because the traffic was bad. But the correct form is, because the traffic was bad, I was late to my meeting. Run-on sentences. A run-on sentence, also known as a fused sentence, is when two or more independent clauses are joined without a proper connection. Examples. Incorrect form is, there is no alien life on the moon, we would have seen it by now. The correct form is, there is no alien life on the moon, or we would have seen it by now. Comma splices. A comma splice is when clauses are joined by only a comma and nothing else. Examples. Incorrect form, it will be winter soon, we should go for a walk while the weather is nice. Correct form, it will be winter soon, we should go for a walk while the weather is nice. So this is the end of the video. Check the previous one to have a better understanding. See you.